Hello and welcome to Reading Reddit. I have something that it could have been on best of moving, what is it? Best of Redditor updates. But I just found this because there was an update and this is from True Off My Chest. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this one started. I'm not going to bother with comments too much on this one. So the first part, it's a three-parter. Moving out April 1st, probably the cruelest April Fool's joke I could play on Dear Husband. And it's this very short. He's always loved April Fools. I feel a lot of guilt and guilt-related pain. I know what I'm doing is so cruel, but I guess I will just keep going with my plans. There's no turning back now. Whenever I feel like crap, whenever I feel crap like I am the bad guy, I just remembers their conversations. No, I'm not the villain here. I will end my marriage and I will tell him this is because we're not compatible anymore. Let him think whatever. I have decided maybe I shouldn't tell him I know about her. Let him run back to her once he realizes I am really gone. And once the baby is older, we could tell him about our amicable that we can tell him that we got an amicable divorce. No hurt or bad feelings. Two people who fell out of love. My boy doesn't need to know that his daddy broke up the family. Okay, so I'm going to do just one simple comment here. And this says, not the lizard genitals, says, and that's all he'll care about. He won't be sorry he hurt you and your son. He'll only be sorry that he got caught. You have done absolutely nothing wrong. If he had concerns about the marriage, he should have put it on his big boy pants and used his big boy words to communicate with you that he was unhappy. He could have spoken to you and as a team come up with real solutions together. I really do wish you all the best. Please be kind to yourself. And now, the second update here. Now that I have won my husband back, I am leaving him. Ooh. I've secured an apartment for my baby and me, and I've put everything in order and prepared for custody, shared or otherwise. I've divided the money and transferring my share to a third account where it will stay until the divorce proceedings and the dividing of the assets. I found out that my husband was having an affair while I was postpartum. I thought that I would die because I love him, and it felt like my heart was broken into a million pieces. I knew that it was over, but my curiosity got the best of me. I wanted to know why. What was it that she had that I didn't? Did he love her? I started reading his texts, and everything was there. He felt like he was alive again. He was happy and excited. She's single and childless, so she had all the time in the world to make him her priority. Ah! Okay, keep going. He felt seen and desired by her. I was confused because even with life coming between us, he was always my love, and I made sure he knew that every day. Still, it wasn't enough. See, love is not always enough. I read thousands upon thousands of messages between them, and I started being everything he fantasized about. In the beginning, it felt weird, and he was confused, but I just went on. Every time he made plans with her, I found a way to make him stay, or I made sure that I sent him exhausted to her. The messages became less and less frequent, and the passion and excitement subsided. Soon answering her became more of a chore. Then the complaining started and him pulling away. He was happier at home, and he couldn't wait to come home. He started texting me again during the day, the sweetest text of how he missed me. He was his old self back. One day, what I hoped and waited patiently for it happened. He ended things with her. He told her that he loved me and now everything was great again. Her services weren't needed, in other words. I felt relief and I could finally move on. Now, I am preparing for my divorce. He will get the papers the day I leave for my new life in my new apartment. I know I will get a lot of hate for this because I've neglected my husband and pushed him to seek solace in another woman's arms, when I apparently could have given him what he sought all along, and believe me, I will bear the guilt the rest of my life. No, don't you feel a double damn of guilt. Don't you feel one single iota of guilt. Like the other commentator said, he could have put on his big boy drawers and talked to you. In my defense, I didn't do it intentionally. Our lives had just been altered drastically, and I was trying to navigate this new and exciting existence. And I was immersed in this new kind of happiness that I thought I was sharing with him. Exactly. It's not your fault, girl. It ain't your fault, girl. And I was trying to get to know my new body that I couldn't recognize anymore. Yeah, because you pushed a watermelon out of something the size of a lemon. Who wouldn't? A real scary feeling. But he could have come to me with his hurt. He could have talked to me about his suffering. He could have tried to make me understand, but he chose not to. He decided to deceive me, deceive us. He ruined our love, our future, and even our history. Nothing was or will be the same again. And now the last one, last one, and we're going to cap it off there. So, here we go, part 3. I have left my husband and filed for divorce. I'm starting to think that it's not so bad and that I'll be all right. Well, hello, and sorry for being so absent. I know that I promised an update once I got out, but I've been so busy adjusting to my new life. I've received hundreds of "Have you moved out?" and "Is there an update?" DMs and comments. So I hope everyone who asked sees this because I have no possibility to answer each and every one. Also, I don't know how many times I'm allowed to update here, so hopefully this is okay. I did exactly as I planned. I moved out after I left my husband divorce papers. I told him that I wasn't in love with him anymore and that I think we are better off as co-parents than a couple. That I have found a new place and he could buy me out of our current home or sell the property once the divorce is finalized. He was in total shock, but probably not the same shock I was in when I found out he had been cheating on me. He literally asked if I hit my head and even was telling people that he was worried that I had a brain tumor. He was very angry in the beginning and wanted answers. No answer was good enough. Is there someone else? No, dear husband, there isn't anyone else, but there isn't you either. The audacity of that man. I reminded him that we still had our son to think about him before going vindictive. Sure enough, he kept it civil around our son. One thing he kept asking is why and how long ago I've stopped loving him. He didn't get any answers from me. Other than that, everything has been fine. I am adjusting well. I still miss him, but at the same time, I feel like I can finally breathe. I feel like I've been living on shallow breathing for the past months, and now I can take full breaths. Our families are very sad and mostly shocked, but honestly, they have been very understanding. There's no bad reason for divorce. Wanting divorce is good enough a reason for that. To want to separate, to not want to be with your partner. My ex-in-laws are still very active in my son's life. They have been very cordial, if yet a bit cold towards me. That represented itself when about 2 weeks ago, my mother-in-law, in a bit of passive-aggressive tone, told me that my husband had started seeing someone. She apologized immediately and said that she just wanted me to know and be prepared that he had someone new. And yet I couldn't help but hear some vindication in her voice. I just answered, "Oh, do you mean Karen?" I gave the mistress this name for obvious reasons. She looked shocked and asked me, "Did you know? Did he talk to you about it?" I said, "Oh, no, she isn't new. I told her that he's been sleeping with her since had just given birth, maybe even before that." I kept my voice quiet and monotone, like we were discussing the weather. I was already regretting my slip, but the news that he started seeing Karen again, while very much anticipated, still made my heart hurt. My mother and father-in-law just looked at each other. I don't know if they believed me, but then how would I have known about Karen when I refused to see him in person since our breakup? So now everyone knows anyway, and I have learned that you can't keep these things to yourself indefinitely. Since he found out, he's been calling and apologizing every day. "Why didn't you tell me how much I hurt you? Or how much did I hurt you?" He said that he loved me and never stopped loving me. That he was so sorry for everything and he would do anything to have me back as his wife. My mother-in-law apologized too, even though she had no control over what her grown-up son did or does. It's not her fault. He writes that he loves me every night before bed. I hope this doesn't mean that he would make the divorce drag out, because then I have failed my plan, but he seems to be less forgiving of the divorce when he knew that he was the reason for it than when he thought it was mine. Weird. The divorce is still processing, and if anything major happens, I'll be here again if I haven't outstayed my welcome already. And then one comment I'm going to put here from Gnomes and Blankets is the top comment here, and it says, "I don't even think you should regret the slip. It's good that everyone knows what really happened. It's good that he can't twist the story. And it's awesome that everyone now knows his new girlfriend is actually the woman who helped ruin his marriage. He loves you so much, but didn't even grieve the marriage before dating her? Yeah, no. And you're way too nice to your ex mother in law. She purposely tried to hurt you by mentioning it. She can eat shit too. I agree. Personally, old mother in law, I would have been like, so that's nice. So this one is interesting. I love this one. This one is so good. And honestly, I'm glad that an OP got out of there, and I hope that they can co-parent well. And it also said that it didn't. There was another comment that OP wrote that it wasn't. That it didn't last because I think he got busted or something. Something stupid happened. And he, let's see, what was it? They're not together anymore. It ended a couple of days after he got busted. Hopefully, he's single for real for a while and won't introduce anybody until he's ready for a relationship. And then after that comment, New Environment 9700 says you can stipulate that a new partner needs to be there for a year before being introduced. Also, to ensure he doesn't cycle women in and out, you would abide by the same rules. So sorry for your pain. OP comes out smelling like roses in this one because, and I kind of like that playing with his head a little bit. Like, oh. And then all of a sudden, now that he knows that OP is not the issue, and now that he can't hide behind what happened, and now that mother-in-law now knows that her son is the asshole. See, this is the thing. You knew that mother-in-law thought that daughter-in-law was the asshole. And then when he said, "Oh, he's dating Karen." Oh, yeah, I know about Karen. They were sleeping together after I gave birth. Like, yeah, she can eat shit too for as far as I'm concerned. Okay, this is coming up on 12 minutes. I got to go. Talk to you soon. Reading Reddit. See you later.